Oh, fuck, I forgot my footage. There we go. That's much better, I guess. You guys remember I used to make videos somewhat consistently? Yeah, a lot of stuff happened between me and myself. We both got in a heated argument debating whether or not I should get back into making videos. On one side, I thought coming back and making an actual commentary video with my somewhat new equipment will be great. But on the other side, it made a great point. Maybe you're just really fucking stupid. But in reality, I was very indecisive on what path I wanted to take. I didn't know if I wanted to be like Scar and continue making Josh-related content, or do something completely different. But I decided to bathe in the fucking darkness and make an update on my first video on this channel. Since, you know, there's a couple of album placements that need to be changed and the inclusion of Josh's older and newer stuff. So here is my Josh A and Lil Revi tier list 2023 edition. 2023, it ain't even halfway. The only album going in F tiers is Oldies. I personally don't think every single song on here is hot garbage, but a major gripe I have with the song, what the fuck? A major gripe I have with this album is that it's strictly EDM. This came before Josh started doing rap and all he was known for is making dubstep and all that. But I could see some people getting into this album because they like EDM and whatnot. Me personally, I just can't get into EDM. You're probably going to hear me say this a lot, but I think Self-Entitled is a really unique album. But it's going into D tier. Of all the albums with the exception of Lil Revive, this one stands out to me. If you listen to Self-Entitled and Blessed One, hell, to any Josh album from 2018, there's a huge difference in vocal quality. Like, take a listen.
My lyrical beretta, been chasing all my endeavors. Fuck these rappers, only in it for the feta cheese. I'm working with necessities, they call it white privilege like my race had amenities. Yeah, but fuck they grinding every day. First show down in Tampa Bay. Yeah, fuck what all these bitches say when they be out of doubt of me. Yeah. Winning like scarce, yeah. Winning like scarce, throw the flannel on and double upload, having drama nightmares, yeah. Winning like scarce, yeah. Winning like scarce, throw the flannel on and double.
By the way, I do not own the right to Josh's music, I'm just using this as an example. So why does your pal Scoobs think this album goes into D tier? Well, it's kind of fucking forgettable. Yeah, the songs, shit, I'm running out of footage. That's better. But yeah, the songs on this album don't really stand out for me, and maybe everyone. If it wasn't for the point I just made earlier, then this would just go under everyone's radars. There's a couple that I think is pretty good, like Ha Ha Ha, and probably the biggest one out of the bunch right now. But yeah, it's just mostly forgettable. Moving on. Next up, I'm putting It's Hot down here at the same place as it was in the last video, which is D tier. I still think it's a mediocre album, still have the same points with the whole 3 songs. Actually, I'm gonna play my old video for y'all since I explained it better there.
So I'm putting It's Hot down here in D tier. Technically there are 6 songs in this album / EP, but in reality it's just 3 songs with some bonus that are bass boosted. While I love the meme rap Josh and Jake made, I can't give it a higher score because of this huge flaw. Though I do think Boneless and Everything are the ones that stand out. Serendipity Boys is alright, however I do think Josh and Jake should just make more meme rap even if they're not collaborating.
I still can't believe I used a Steel Series mic to commentate over my videos. But yeah, out of the 6 tracks on this album, there's only like 3 original songs. The other 3 are quote-unquote Dake Edition, which, spoiler alert, is basically bass boosted to the point where it's unlistenable. The first 3 songs, which are Everything, Boneless, and Serendipity Boys, technically Love Yourself, judging by Jake's YouTube video, are pretty good when it comes to shitpost music, but I cannot take them seriously. So a big step up, Fearless 2 is now C tier. I'm going to turn to Kanye when I say this, but one of the reasons I'm putting this a rank higher is because of Wait For Me and Dallas. They both fucking suck. Josh's part on Wait For Me sounds like nails on chalkboard, and Dallas sounds fucking fake. These 2 songs made me go back and listen to Fearless 2 a bit, and do I think songs like Ghost and Bipolar are good? Fucking no, they're still terrible. Yeah, never in my life would I actually like those songs, but I'm getting completely off topic. But yeah, with the exception of Ghost, Bipolar, and Sober, this album is pretty decent, Lost Kids especially. Yeah, fuck you, Kurag, suck my nano penis. RIP Spotify users, but a pretty debatable pick here, but King Me is pretty solid for an old Josh album. By the way, I never knew the old intro for King Me was Keemstar announcing the album. Anyways, I think this album's pretty good, way better than Self-Entitled. One of the biggest songs that I want on Spotify really badly is Bruce Jenner. Like, it's really good. Also, Winter Anthem's pretty good too. Prefer it on there than Blessed One. But yeah, overall, pretty solid. Better Off Dead 2, this one's a confusing one for me. I don't know if it's good or bad. On one hand, it has Fluxus and John Wick, one of their best songs. 2 of their best songs in my personal opinion. But on the other hand, it's very weak, like Self-Entitled weak. It's not forgettable, it's just I cannot get into this album personally, so it's good at a B tier. This could have been B tier, but I think Blessed 3 stays at a C tier for 2 main reasons. One that I pointed out in my first video, it's the weakest out of the trilogy. If there were a few more songs added, then I would probably put this near A tier. The next point is a personal gripe I have, which is empty bottles. This is fucking mid. It could have been Josh's best track on here, but god damn, Bionic Pig had to ruin it. You know, you got a song where Josh is talking about his uncle that passed away, with the title possibly referencing him drinking because of this tragedy. A beautiful but sad song, makes an idiot like me tear up because of it. But then you got this fucking banshee doing what I think is singing in the middle of the song. It's just god awful. I don't have a problem with Bionic's whole part. I think his rapping part is pretty decent. Like his inclusion in Mask Off was pretty good. But Jesus Christ, the singing is just... Oh my god. But other than that, my opinions are still the same regarding this section. I gave the album another listen, and man, Dark Thoughts and Chasing You are so damn good. Wish I had asterisks with me, but Slasher stays at C tier. Basically, TLDR, Josh's sections of the album are great as always, but Darko's parts are what drags him down by a small margin. Some parts of Darko's sections are pretty good, like some I could come up with are Ghostface and Skull Ranger. Especially Skull Ranger, because, you know, it reminds me of Too Many Dead and Rest in Pieces from Better Up Dead 3. Moving up to B tier, we got Graveyard at the same placement. Pretty much the most average pre-Grim Peaks little revival album you could get, but it's a good one. There really aren't any bad songs on here, just a couple that are kind of weak. Next is the Flow Awakens, or Ballad of a Loner. This is another confusing entry. It might change as time goes on, but this to me is like the younger brother of Blessed One. Like, it's a solid album. I still listen to Real every now and then. Same with Forget It and On My Way. But it, again, still basic, kind of like Graveyard, but overall, it's alright. This one was a hard one for me personally, but I think I should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video, but I'm just going to throw this out here. I don't have a lot to talk about with these albums other than what I think about it and a couple songs I like from them. That's probably why these future entries are going to go by a bit fast. So yeah, I'm really sorry. Blame my intellect. Anyways, back to the video. Better Up Dead 3 just stays at B tier. I still think that Josh and Jay did a really good job on this album. Only one problem. There's a couple that do better than this, like Better Up Dead 1. But it's on that bridge between Better Up Dead 1 and 2. Like, it isn't weak as Better Up Dead 2, but most of the songs aren't as memorable as Better Up Dead 1. Blessed One is like the Josh version of Graveyard. Like, it's pretty average. I prefer the first Retroland over this in terms of style. Blessed One feels like a deluxe version of King Me and the Flow Awakens. Somewhat same style, but a pretty memorable one at that. So here we are with the change of mind. Lonely Vibes, the original, is somewhat inferior to the deluxe version. If we're taking out all the problems of this album, of course the inclusion of the Painless remix from the EP and the updated version of California, this is a beautiful album. I prefer Josh's singing any day over his rapping. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it's just a personal preference. But dog, Trauma and Outlaw are my top favorite in this damn album. Oh, and also Para ruined Anxious for me. Thanks a million, man. Fuck you. Now, I totally forgot to include this in the Low Revive tier list, but Grim Peaks 3 is the inferior iteration of the trilogy for a handful of reasons. Number one, this was the turning point in Josh's side project where he doesn't sound like Low Revive anymore. Grim Peaks 2 may have had this small problem, but it isn't as bad. So if we're taking this point into accountability, Lullaby for the Dead doesn't sound like a Low Revive song. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but it just sounds more like Josh than it does a Revive. It could be that his voice is maturing as the years go by, but Hellraiser proved that otherwise. Overall, damn good album. Still like Goner, and I don't feel at home in this world anymore. Especially Goner. That fucking guitar riff is insane. I would have put Chaos at a B, but it has Ghost Town and Endless Nightmare. Moving on. Blessed 2. Holy fucking shit, this album is good. Like, I cannot describe how good it is for a Blessed album. With the exception of Better Up Dead 1, this is the album that got me into Josh. To this day, Russ is still probably in my top 5 favorite Josh songs. Though it does lack a bit when it comes to the album. Yoko and It's Everyday Bro probably be my least favorite. However, still a great album. Give it about like a 7.5 out of 10. Retroland 1. This holds a special place in my heart for me. If it wasn't for Retroland 2, this shit would have been S or S+ tier. So what is there to talk about? Well, it completely bodies the Flow Awakens, that's for sure. Most of the songs on here are memorable, at least for me. They're all really good. Damn good, as a matter of fact. There's just one song that ruins it, and I think you know what I'm talking about. It's Winona. God, I sound fucking cringe. But damn, Winona is like the empty bottles of Retroland 1. There is no horrid singing, of course. It's just very, very boring. Like, it's probably the most boring song out of Josh's discography. Oldies doesn't count because that's a whole nother can of worms. So Judgment Day is here because Lonely Vibes Deluxe is S tier. In my old video, I said that this was ruined due to the inclusion of all the songs off the Painless EP being on here, and back then I was so pissed off because of it. To be honest, it doesn't annoy me as much, but what's holding this back is, like I said in the previous video, there's hard songs on here. I'm more of a quality over quantity type of person when it comes to this stuff, so it doesn't surprise me that this is an S+. Now, don't get me wrong, they're really fucking good. It's just that, why are they on here? Other than that, there's newer stuff on here like Drowning, PTSD, and On the Edge. Everything besides PTSD I really fucking like. I don't hate PTSD personally, it's just that the Holy shit, with that 10-minute mark! Let's fucking go! Sorry for the intrusion. Anyways, I don't hate PTSD personally, it's just that the flow that kills it for me. See, since Johnny and On the Edge are on here, I'm just gonna raise it up a bit. Grim Peaks 2. It's better than 3 in my opinion. I know I said I had a problem with Josh making his side stuff sound more like his main shit, but damn, Dead by Daylight's really good. Like, it has to be my 4th favorite Low Revive song out of his discography. So how does this do better than Grim Peaks 3? Well, it's because it has that Grim Peaks 1 style there. I said before that Siren Head sucked because of its edgy ass tone, but fuck that, dude. Grim Peaks 1 had it. I still prefer Dead by Daylight over it, but Siren Head and what was that one song? Only Trending When You're Dead. It was pretty good too. Here we are with Josh's most recent album as of April, Grim Reaper. Kind of a shitty name, honestly. Hellraiser and Slasher did better. Anyways, this is staying at a solid S tier. I guess you can convert that to an A+ if we're going from S to F here. But damn, Josh hit it out of the park with this one. Only reason it's staying in the S is because as of recording this, it literally came out about a week ago. It still needs time to breathe. That way I can analyze it as time goes by. But anyways, this has to be Josh's most unique album so far, with the exception of Self-Entitled, of course. Terrifier and All I Rap About It Is Death and Despair sound like Josh instead of Revive in terms of style. As per other songs on this list, I personally think Heart of Darkness is the best off here. The style, the vocals, shit, even the fucking lyrics are fire as hell. Literally float away Low Revive edition. But an on and off problem I have with this album is the track Grim Reaper. I hate funk so fucking much now. Like, it's been overdone to death as time went by, and I used to fucking enjoy it. Coward and Satin Black, I don't know how the fuck you say it.
Satin.
Coward and Satin Black from Jake were my favorite songs from him, but like what I said, it's been overdone to death, man. But a redeeming factor I have with this is the scream. That's like the only thing that's holding it back from being mid. I might do a review on the album in the future depending if I have the confidence to make these things, but overall, pretty fucking great album in my opinion. So I'll put Retroland 2 in the same place as the first one in my old video since they weren't superior and inferior to each other, but now Retroland 2 is slightly better than the first one, mainly that its style is much better than the first Retroland. It even sounds like modern day Retroland, judging by Josh's vocals and such. But if I were to be honest, this is probably the most underrated Josh album to this day. God damn, I need a fucking breather. Fearless, pretty good. Probably one of Josh's biggest albums to this day. Only reason it's not on the top of the list for me is that it's so fucking big in terms of quality. Pain being one of Josh's biggest songs aside from Fearless, Suicidal Thoughts, and Painless is what brings this down for me. I have no personal vendetta against Pain. I think it's a good song, albeit with a few flaws, but holy shit is it overused to death. Overall, this album has no breaks, silence, and Waste Away. Really good Fearless songs, so yeah, it's good in the S tier or A+. We're about done with this horde of video gamers. We just gotta go through 6 more albums. Fucking hell, man, I'm tired. Better Off Dead 1, probably my favorite Double J album of all time. Surprisingly, this is what got me into them, and no, Suicidal Thoughts wasn't the song that got me hooked to the album, it was Pennywise. I wasn't a fan of Suicidal Thoughts when I first listened to the album. I was transitioning from Scarlet to Josh, so hearing Jake scream in Pennywise in Nuketown was music to my ears, bro. To this day, I still think Jake carried the album for me since Josh sounded like he volunteered for the album. Grim Peaks 1, I know I've been rushing through these a lot, but I don't want to sound repetitive and say the same thing over and over, but I'm actually going to sit down and talk about this for a bit. Grim Peaks 1 to me is the definition of a perfect Low Revive album. This is the style Josh should have stayed with, not sound like a fucking Disgrace clone. Seriously, I'll play a song from Grim Peaks 1 and one from Grim Reaper to show you the difference.
The sleep broke, then I woke up rich. Coming for your throat, better bounce back quick. Never asked to exist, popping like a zit. All I really wanted was some peace and quiet shit. I fucking hate this, too many faces. Money makes me anxious, I've been feeling vacant, and I fucking hate.
Also, yes, I know there are a few songs off Grim Peaks that sound like Josh and vice versa from Grim Reaper. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're not alone. The best mixture of the hard shit from Fearless and the sad shit from Disgrace. Literally every song besides Gravestone is really fucking good. Gravestone isn't really bad per se, it's just weak. Disgrace, unsurprisingly, is S+ in this clusterfuck of a tier list. Same opinion like with the last video. I sound like an asshole when I say it, but Josh's soulless vocals on this album are fucking amazing. What hasn't been said about Save Our Souls? It's great. Anyways, Hellraiser. I'm still judging if this is better than Grim Peaks 1 because Hellraiser is up there. To start with, this is probably the biggest album I was thrilled about next to the original Lonely Vibes. Literally every song but one, I'll get into in a minute, is perfect. Coven being my favorite song on this fucking album. And the craziest part is that Jake's part isn't the best. It's Josh. Jake's part is still good though, but holy fuck is Josh's section amazing. The fucking flow to it is great, the mood is great, and the fucking beat is great. But the black shit out of the group is Haunted Cowboy. The instrumentals are the worst. Like, it does not pair well with the vocals. It's as if the less dark version of We Die 2 was satirical. But yeah, it has to be my second best fucking Lil Revive album of all time. And I think we're done, gamers. Woohoo! We're fucking done with this. I can go jerk off now.